We're going to break out of that news conference, and Sir Keir Starmer won't mind because it's football related. He's a big football fan, of course, and England have beaten Switzerland on penalties. They are through to the semi-finals of the Euros, playing next Turkey or the Netherlands. They won on penalties. Our sports correspondent Rob Harris is in Dusseldorf for us. Rob, they don't make it easy for us, do they?
No, this really is true. England have won a penalty shootout. The Three Lions winning 5-3 on penalties. They scored all their penalties. Trent Alexander-Arnold finding the net with the last of them, ensuring that they are through to the semi-finals of Euro 2024. It was nervy, it was tense, it was anxious. They fell behind in the second half. Only then did Gareth Southgate make the changes, and just when it looked like all hope was lost, Bukayo Saka popped up with an equaliser, sending the game into extra time when it was nervy. They were struggling to create chances. The Swiss were providing so much threat, having already knocked out the holders, Italy. But England, having lost to Italy in the shootout in the last Euros final 3 years ago, they produced the goods, and somehow they've managed to perfect penalties. Although they have done it before, the England men, of course, under Southgate against Colombia at the World Cup in 2018. This, though, showed the calmness and coolness under pressure just when they needed it most. Those England penalties taken by Cole Palmer the first, then a penalty for Switzerland saved by Pickford. As England then went on to score all the penalties, as did the Swiss. We had Bellingham scoring, we had Saka scoring, Tony, and then Trent Alexander-Arnold to ensure there would not be a fifth spot kick taken by Switzerland. So Gareth Southgate, on his 100th match in charge, has guided England through to a third semi-final in his 4 tournaments in charge. He reached the last 4 in Russia in 2018 at the World Cup. They fell short then. They reached the semi-finals at the last Euros and they got through to the final. And now they have made it in Germany through to another semi-final. They'll play Turkey or the Netherlands in Dortmund on Wednesday. And these England fans around me here in Dusseldorf are pretty relieved and ecstatic, and maybe one of the most relieved fans in there, the Prince of Wales, who came over here and was beaming when certainly the Saka equaliser went in. But you've heard it right, England's men have won another penalty shootout, the second under Gareth Southgate.
Watching footage of fans around the country all celebrating, I think many of them not quite believing what has just happened. There was a change in player formation. Did that have anything to do with it? Criticism that perhaps subs weren't brought on earlier. How did you feel the game itself actually was played out in the end?
Well, Gareth Southgate did switch the defence. They were quite flexible and interchangeable, but he did go instead of 4 at the back to 3 at the back. One was an enforced change due to a suspension, and there was a more encouraging first half. It did look brighter. There was that attacking threat, but still England couldn't get a shot on target. And as it went into the second half, Switzerland did start to show just how they have managed to knock out the holders, Italy, in the previous round. They were creating chances. England was scrambling clearances and just not creating much at all. There was some questions then when the Swiss made their changes after an hour or so, why Gareth Southgate took so long. It was only after the equaliser from Saka that then the change. So it's only after Switzerland went in front that Gareth Southgate did then make the changes, and he then made a raft of them, with Saka then showing the magic that helped to find a shot from the edge of the penalty area. It went in off the post, and what relief there was. But then in extra time, it started with Declan Rice having an early chance, but then it was really all Switzerland after that, and we thought, as it was getting to penalties, we know how difficult it can be for England, but they scored all 5, and particularly welcome news for those like Bukayo Saka who missed in the shootout defeat in the final to Italy 3 years ago. But there will still be those questions, not to be too gloomy about England's performance and how they can get gelling. On top, but above all that, though, it is about getting the results. And if you think at this tournament alone, Germany, the hosts, have gone out. They were beaten last night. Portugal also, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal, also beaten as well. So it's not easy making it through to a semi-final, and it means that Gareth Southgate does prolong his reign after 8 years in charge of what it looks like is being his final tournament. He will have a 101st match in charge after this shootout victory, 5-3 winning the penalty shootout after it finished 1-1 after extra time.
Yeah, Rob, I was going to ask you about Gareth Southgate and his future, because he's come under a lot of criticism, hasn't he? And certainly if this match hadn't been won by England, that would have been absolutely the end of his career. Does this buy him a lot more time or just a little bit more time?
Well, the fact he will have this match, and we are expecting, he looks pretty drained at this tournament, perhaps quite weary. Talking about this is perhaps a different mood to as we hear three lines playing out there and such a fan favourite. But if you think of those lyrics, it does talk about all those also nears. Gareth Southgate, part of one of them at Euro '96, losing that semi-final. Penalty pain for him that day. But he certainly at least changed the mindset, and perhaps that's why they are winning penalty shootouts now. They have won these two in his reign. Previously, there had been all the heartache. I was there in Ukraine when they lost to Italy in the Euros shootout defeat in the quarter-final. Then there have been other moments of despair in penalties too along the years, and he has managed to sort of get this side overcoming the fear and coping when these big moments come, and being able to sort of ensure they aren't overawed by the occasion and they can actually produce the moment. And there will still, of course, be questions about how Gareth Southgate is managing the team within the games. When does he make the changes? When can he tactically switch things up? But he did take Harry Kane off in extra time. It's unclear if that was due to an injury, because he actually fell into Gareth Southgate on the bench and the manager had to catch him. He brought Ivan Toney on. Toney was one of those to score a penalty. So the fact they did it without Harry Kane in the penalty shootout, their all-time top scorer, will offer that encouragement that there are other attacking options available, and there are other scorers within the team, particularly if it goes down to a penalty shootout. But this will be draining every bit out of them, because of course it did go to extra time the other night against Slovakia last weekend. Another great escape. Then it was Jude Bellingham with his overhead kick saving things to keep England going and sending that match into extra time when Harry Kane popped up with the winner. So they are showing their resolve on these big occasions. They are managing to show that they have the winning mentality, but they aren't making it easy for themselves, not making it easy for so many of the fans obviously watching at home and here.